There was Carol in here says, I'll never forget Sabe's passion and emotion when they won it all in 2010. And I'll tell you, I used to love, love when Sabes would get on with Ralph on KMBR because Ralph just had a million neurotic questions. And, I remember we had one soundbite.
I hear it. I hear Ralph's voice coming.
One of the sound bites, and he'd be like, "Hey Brian, what about Saltalamacchia?" And you hear Saves go, "Why? Why?" Just disgusted, right? Disgusted. What about Saltalamacchia? He really likes Saltalamacchia. But Ralph, I forget the year, but he went in every day on Armando Benitez. And Sabean finally traded Benitez. And I forget exactly I forget exactly how the trade came down, but he went on KMBR and Ralph, to do a segment with Ralph and Tom. And, Sabes was clearly pissed that like Ralph had like kind of, I don't want to say poison the waters, but that he had put like public pressure by talking about the struggles of Benitez over and over. And he's like, Sabes was like, Ralph, you're going to have to find yourself a new whipping boy because, he's like, he's just like, because, I don't know. And it's like, he was disgusted by that whole thing. I'm just kind of wondering, you're a passionate guy. He's a passionate guy. You've already referenced spending hours walking after games. What is the most anger that you've ever seen from him and maybe yourself, if you could share it during your entire tenure working together? It probably was on some 2:00 in the morning, walking down the street in some city, but what can you share with us? Because Brian always kept it very subdued on the radio, but when he would get to his boiling point and he was, lose patience, man, you could hear the edge and the anger, and you knew there was a bubbling temper underneath there. What's the most angry you've ever seen Sabes?
I probably got 3 of them for you. So I'm not in San Francisco. We're at Candlestick. It's a Friday night.
Right.
And I'm on the road watching another team play or minor leagues or something. And I'm watching ESPN. And they got, they're showing the scores and the line by line. They're, top of 8, bottom 8, top of 9, bottom 9. And I remember it vividly. We're playing Colorado. This might have been, it was Candlestick, so it was before 2000. It was 97, 98, 99, somewhere in there. And it's a Friday night. We're playing Colorado and at Candlestick, and I'm watching the bottom line, and we got a 1-run lead, 8, top 8. Colorado's hitting, bottom 8. We don't score. Go into the 9th. We still got a 1-run lead. I don't see the score for a half hour. Finally, it comes in, Colorado 6, Giants 5. It was a 1-run game, may not have been 6-5. So we lost a game in the last inning. So I got an early flight. We have a day game in San Francisco. I got an early flight. There was no internet back then that you could just bring your computer in and go play by play and see what had happened. If there was, I didn't have one. So I don't really know how we lost the game. So I get in the Candlestick into the little booth we had between home and first, and Sage is the only one in there. And he's got this big bowl of popcorn, like in the plastic container, right on the ledge, right? And so I go, "Hey, Sabes," and he just turns around, doesn't say a word. Just turns around. I go, "Hey, I'm looking for a conversation, and he ain't giving me any." And so I go, "So what the heck happened last night?" And he goes, "What the F happened last night?" And he starts getting animated, and I mean, using a few vulgar words here and there, and he takes the popcorn and he fires it out the window of Candlestick. The entire thing, so, I think we were drawing a lot of people, but somebody, it was before
in the game.
It's like 12, 15, and all of that goes down, and then he vehemently, passionately, I guess would be another word, passionately explains to me how the top of the ninth inning went. And so that was one. Another time we're in the booth and something had gone haywire. And I'm standing behind him and he picks up a bottle of plastic water and he fires it over my head and it explodes on top of me.
Oh no.
And I said, so is that really necessary? He goes, I'm effing sorry, but we still effed up the game, So that was, one of the
Danny
best.
occasionally tries that as well.
One of the best was I won't give you all the detail because it would expose the subjects here. We had a player we had drafted, and we were going through a tough negotiation. And as I said, I handled like 99% of the negotiations of our top picks and of our 40-man roster, 25-man roster at least. And as we're going through this, we're not making any headway. And so we make our final offer. I make our final offer.
Matt White?
And no, I'll tell you what.
Larry.
That's right. And so the agent tells me, your boss is so gutless. He makes you deliver the dirty work all the time. He is gutless. And I says, you know what? That's probably something he ought to hear. And he says, well, put him on the phone.
Oh.
So I hang up and I go to his office and I tell him the story. And so I dial up the agent. I says, here, you can tell him what you just told me. He's anxious to hear it. And so he gets the guy on the phone and the guy tells him, and he says, I hear the guy say, and I'm going to come to San Francisco and kick your behind.
What?
And Sabe says, give me the flight number and the gate, and I'll meet you there. That was one of the best.